What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well. I am back from my little quiet little siesta that I had. I mean, like when I say siesta, that means second nap. I know that, but I just took a little break. Had a couple weeks because one week was basically the week that my mom died a year ago. So I took that off, and then I had another week. We were just super busy. I'm like, you know what? 2 weeks off from making a podcast is not a bad thing. It makes life a little bit easier to function, and honestly, I can focus on the things that matter most. And honestly, that's really what the key is. I mean, if we're not doing the things that matter most, then why are we doing them? That's really what you need to be asking yourself. I got some good emails today, but before we get there, I'm going to say we are now officially 6.5 weeks away from moving from Utah all the way back to Tennessee. We are on that edge. We are almost there. We are almost like literally gone and out of the state at this point. It's kind of crazy. I mean, you have to go check out the vlog at Youngblood's Anchored In on YouTube. See what stuff we got going, what's happening. I'm actually got to go through and start pulling more stuff out. You will see that on the vlog next week. All the stuff that I've pulled out, what we're selling, we're getting rid of. We are literally changing our life completely. We're selling everything we own. We're moving back to Tennessee in a teeny tiny trailer, pulling a trailer behind us, like a 6x12 trailer. To bear in mind, we've been married for 24 years. Some people are like, well, you have to have a lot of stuff. Honestly, we have stuff, but we don't have a lot of stuff. And part of that is because we don't like stuff. And we never really had a place that we wanted to say is called home. So now here we are, we're moving back to Tennessee, and that is going to be what we would call home. So there's that. Anyway, that all being said, we've got some stuff going on. I've got some emails. Some of these emails, I'm going to say it. Let me pull it up. I've got we're going to cover 2 emails today. One of them is still considered controversial. For one, it's called controversial because someone that has recently online has told me I'm a man and I should have no opinion when it comes to this matter. Too bad. I'm a man and I have opinion on this matter. And for you that have the problem with that, that's your problem. I can have an opinion because my opinion, I want to say, yes, I believe my opinion is correct because it's based on fact and knowledge. So there's that. Anyway. Got this email. It's from Sarah in Kansas City, and it says, "Hey Devin, it's Sarah. I've been following your social media posts on different topics, and they always get me thinking, even the ones I don't fully agree with. Lately, there's been so much noise around women's reproductive rights, and honestly, it's overwhelming. So I'm just going to ask, where do you stand on women's rights to choose what happens to their body? I'm not looking for a fight. I'm genuinely curious on how you see it, especially since you talk a lot about values, responsibility, and freedom. How do you hold space for personal freedom while also navigating your beliefs? Would love to hear your thoughts." Sarah from Kansas City. Okay, Sarah, here's the thing. I have a very strong opinion of this. I've actually talked about this once before. I don't know how far back it was. Don't know what's going on, where it was. I actually did I've done a couple of different podcasts about the same subject, but let's get it down. It's pretty simple. What you're asking me is about, women's rights to choose basically body autonomy versus essentially abortion. So I'm going to say it. A lot of times the left thinking people take it to the extreme on one side versus taking the reality of what's happening as a whole and simple and where it is. They want to say that this one thing is this big when it's actually this big. Seriously, it's really, to me, it's not that hard of a discussion to have. It's a simple discussion. And, I hear people use the word of this is my body autonomy. You don't have any right to tell me what to have to do with my body. I agree with that. I cannot tell you what you can do with your body. And that is 100% factual. But yes, there is a but here. You also have to follow through with what your body is also doing. Okay. So let's go over a couple of things. so I watched a video not too long ago. It was probably 2-3 weeks ago. I saw this video, and it was this woman. I want to say it was up in. I may be wrong on this. I want to say that she was up in Portland or Washington State, up in Oregon or Washington State, and she was freaking out. And this may be an old video, but it just popped up on my feed one day. So in that video, it shows her running up and trying to chase off this male duck who was trying to get it on with a female duck. And she kept screaming, that's a rape. You're doing that's wrong. You can't do that. Leave her alone. Blah, 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 blah. Kept pushing. And she's saying that what's happening was wrong. Okay. To address that, pretty simple. And bear with me, Sarah. This is all along the same lines. I'm going to bring it all back together. She was saying that male duck was raping the female duck. First of all, let's look at this as it is. That is nature. That is how that was working. We don't know the whole process of how ducks do all that. We just see what's happening in nature. That was nature and nature going on and nature happening. She saw it. She didn't have to like it, but that's just how nature is. Now, was that rape? Absolutely not. That was a female duck and a male duck getting things on, so there will be baby ducks later on. That is how that works. Can't change it. Can't fix it. It is nature. Now, if we take that, now that's just the nature side. Let's put that into the world of humans. Do we know what we are doing? Do we understand what we're doing? Yes. I know that if a man forces himself on a woman, that is considered rape. And he should be put under the ground for that same reason. No self-respecting man would ever do that to a woman. I know that in my 24 years of marriage, my wife is in charge of our nightly activities. Trying not to get flagged on YouTube, by the way. My wife's in charge of those nightly activities. I am not, because I can't get what I want unless she allows me. So therefore, it is consent. So that's the key thing we're looking at here, that there is consent. Now, there's a statistic that, what's the statistic? Let me find it. 80% of U.S., in the United States, 80% of U.S. adults yearly in a survey consent to having relationships together. 80%. Now, that's out of a poll, and out of that poll, 80% decide to talk. There was another percentage, it was like another... like 5% said that they don't, that they don't consent. Well, that's just weird. And then there's another percentage that showed that they just chose not to answer. But 80%. Now, out of all that, consent is like signing a contract, just so you know. Now, with all that being said, if you're doing that type of thing, you're with a woman and she consents because she's in charge. Okay, bottom line is the woman is always 100% in charge of the activities, not the man. The man has wants, but those wants never get fulfilled unless the woman allows him to have those fulfilled. Plain and simple. So let's take it as it is. All the women screaming that my body, my choice. Correct. It is your body, and that is your choice. You choose to do something with somebody is your choice. If he forces it on you, then that takes it to the other part, which is the non-consensual side, and that is considered rape. Think about that. It's pretty simple. So, let's look at this now at a different level. If two people consent to do something, there is a chemical reaction that could happen. Bear with me. This is basic knowledge. This is stuff that you should have been taught when you were younger. When two consenting adults make something happen, there is a high chance that there will be a baby that will be conceived. Does that mean that that's still your body? That means you have your body, and then there's the baby that's coming along. There are two different things. So your choice to do those things stopped once that interaction, that biological action took place, your choice ended. Now, I'm going to hear it from different sides, and you're going to say, well, but that's not how that should be done. No, but that's how that is done. You can't change science. You can't change nature. Just like go back to the duck thing. The reality is that's the nature side. The nature and science side is when the chemicals and when basically an egg gets fertilized, a baby is being formed. No question on that. That is the reality. That is fact. Argue it all you want, but you're just going to make yourself look like an idiot because that is fact. That is how science works. Okay. That is how our bodies work. You roll the dice. Now let's go over another statistic. On the average statistic right now, it costs around $300,000 to raise a child from consent, basically from conception, not consent, from conception all the way up until it graduates from high school at age 18. And that is a bare minimum, $300,000. Now, take that into account. When you roll those dice, and I'm not, what I'm saying here is when a woman allows a man to have sex with her, she rolls that dice and he's rolling that dice. That means they are both understanding that this game of this gambling game of rolling dice, the odds are there will be a baby born. You can take a lot of things and to prevent it from happening, but there is that slight chance. That's why if you look at the back of a box of condoms, it actually tells you the percentage of the of chances that you could get pregnant even with the contraceptive. Okay, there's still a chance. Now I'm bringing this all back to basically one simple thing. It's called accountability. This is the thing that no one wants to talk about. No one wants to, even liberals hate the word accountability because that means that their actions require a counteraction, right? If I punch someone in the face, there's a chance I'm going to get punched in the face back. Plain and simple. Now, all that said, when you roll the dice and you do the deed, you're saying I'm about to give up $300,000. Now, that's as a single mom? Yes. Or is that as a man and a husband and wife? Yes. Is that two teenagers fooling around? Yes. You're putting that $300,000 burden on yourself and probably your family because you have done something that you should probably not do until you're married and you are financially somewhat okay doing it, because $300,000 is a lot of money, and that's the bare minimum again. Now, so again, let's compare this to something that's simple in life. Okay, $300,000 gets you what, a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or something like that. If you can't afford a Ferrari or a Lamborghini and you can only afford a Corolla, don't try to go buy the Lamborghini and then be stuck for 18 years minimum paying for that thing. Okay? That's called accountability. If you can only afford a Corolla and that means you can just look, then just look. So guys out there who are decent guys, don't do anything. Save it. Save your money. Because honestly, you're going to be stuck. And in our society right now, women get the upper edge when it comes to the financial side. They get to drain your bank account. They do. They essentially get to drain your bank account because of one night of just fooling around. Plain and simple. You know, in the study, 62% of Americans are supporting legal abortion as a way to control post-sex outcome. And that part of that is because they want to use the word and the argument that they have body autonomy. Again, let's take it back to its simple form. If a woman allows a man to have sex with her, because again, I'm saying it that way because men always want to do it. Okay, always. But a woman can say no, and if a guy forces it, then that's called rape. Let's make sure we understand that. Okay. No man no decent man, if a woman says no, he's going to be upset or he'll be frustrated. Got it? He'll probably be frustrated. I mean, there's been nights that I'm like, okay, I want to do this. And my wife's like, no, this ain't going to happen. And I'm like, well, that's frustrating. I don't say it that way. I'm like, okay, whatever. Whatever. It's not what I wanted, but it's what I got. Okay. The key thing is here, Sarah, gone over a lot of things, talked about a lot of things. The key thing here is simple. You are in charge of your body, but you're not in charge of what your body does. If you allow outside sources to come in and get involved with your body, and that creates another body, which that's what that is. It really is. If you allow it, okay, again, we're going back to that you have to be accountable for those actions. Okay, plain and simple. Having sex is a joint choice. And so is that in that choice, it's also the choice of $300,000 coming out of your bank account. If you don't like that idea, don't do it. Plain and simple. To me, it's all about the accountability. If you can't afford the Ferrari, don't buy the Ferrari. Don't even try to take it for a test spin. Because you may wreck it, and if you wreck it, you got to pay for it. Understand that there? It's pretty simple. I am not anti-choice. I am not anti what women can do with their bodies. Because when they choose to have sex with a guy, that is the choice, and the outcome could potentially be that there's going to be a baby. Obviously, if a man forces it, I'm going to say it again, if a man was to force it, then that is wrong. Then you can fight that. There are laws against that, and that person can be put in jail because it is wrong. So you have to understand this here. And this is where I say most liberals do not get, because they don't like the accountability side. It's all about accountability. It seems like accountability only works for liberals when it benefits them. Accountability is not political party. Accountability cares about no side or the other. It just is there. It's right or it's wrong. Plain and simple. If you need to be able to have your life better, choose accountability, choose to think about the things you're going to do. And if it works out and it's for your advantage, meaning you accounted for that you can't afford to buy the Ferrari, then you do it. If you can't, don't. Hope that laid it out. Hope that explained it all. I mean, my when it comes to my beliefs and my freedoms and all that, navigating all those together, it's all in the same, Sarah. It's all the same thing. Doing the right thing is always going to be the right thing, no matter what. Plain and simple. That's what people need to know. Anyway, let's go to another one. Hey, Devin. Just graduated from high school, and honestly, I'm stuck. Everyone's telling me I need to go to college, but I've heard how crazy student debt can be. I don't want to spend the next 20 years paying off loans, but I also don't want to ruin my life and my future by skipping college. What do you think I should do? Is there any other way to build a good life without going into debt? Ethan from Springfield, Missouri. Ethan, you're right. Here's the thing. College is important if you're going to do a job that requires college. Okay, plain and simple. I want my doctor to be well-versed in medicine. I want him to be well-versed in, nutrition. If he's a surgeon, I want him to be well-versed in cutting into the body. I want him to know how to connect things back up. I want to know all that stuff. I want my doctor to be well-versed. And that goes to any profession that is required to have a degree. Now, let's look at the other options out there. You have trade school, okay? You have community college, underrated. Everybody wants to go straight to the university when in reality, community college, you can get your associate's degree for next to nothing and get some grants to help pay for it, if not all of it. Do it. And never underestimate the ability to live at home and go to community college or go to college and save yourself that money. Everybody's like, you need the college experience. You know what the college experience is? Going to school, going to classes, meeting new friends, but you don't have to live there and pay those inflated prices for living. That makes no sense. Yes, parents want you to go out and live your life, but a good parent will want you to live your life, but be smart with your money. They won't want you to go into debt. They don't want you to go into debt to be have to pay for something for the next 20 years. That's ridiculous. Minimum 20 years. It's totally ridiculous to owe hundreds of thousands of dollars for education that can get you only, say, I've got a friend of mine. He works for McDonald's, and I'm not picking on him by any means, and he makes decent money now that he's in management, but he's got a liberal arts degree, master's degree in liberal arts, whatever that is. I want to say it's master's, maybe wrong, maybe a 4-year degree. I don't remember, but he has a lot of debt for going to school to work at McDonald's. You know how much education you need to have to go work at McDonald's? Technically none. You could be a high school dropout to work at McDonald's. Now he's in management, so it has helped benefit him a little bit. But there's that. Okay. The average U.S. College student has an average of $100,000 in debt. That's an average across the board, and that can reach up to $140,000 for a 4-year degree, depending on how many grants they get and all this other stuff. So let's look at the numbers. If you look at the numbers and you go to, say, trade school, you can go to trade school and you can spend $100,000 to $30,000 total, depending on what you're doing, what you're studying, and you can use that trade school and you can make yourself a crap ton of money. Let's look at a couple of things, like some of the highest paying trade school jobs out there, based on the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Elevator installer and repairer makes $97,000. You can go learn how to do that in a trade school. Construction management, $98,000 a year. This is an average. Okay, I know people that are construction managers. They make a lot more. We're talking way 6 figures. Boilermakers, that is on the statistic. They make $86,000 a year. And then aircraft mechanic, $71,000 a year. Electrical power line installers make $82,000 a year. All of those things are done in trade schools. The average trade school person, according to ZipRecruiter, they make on average $67,150 a year, and some top earners make well beyond $100,000. So here's the deal. College is not necessarily the thing that you have to do. If you want to get out of your small town, well, if you're in Springfield, it's a decent sized town. But if you want to go out and do some things, do it. But understand, college is not always the example and the things you need to do. College can be a hindrance to put you in debt. And I've said it before that college is the mask for making banks more money. It's plain and simple. So what I would recommend, live at home, work a part-time job, go to trade school or community college, get that done, apply for some scholarships to help pay for that. My daughter got a scholarship for her college just for writing writing a story. I can't remember the word. An essay. There it is. She wrote an essay on chocolate milk. So my daughter got some money because she wrote about chocolate milk. Plain and simple. Anybody can do it. There's tons of things out there, tons of money out there that people want to give you for college. Do it. I have nieces that went to college and they worked full time while going to college, and they graduated with no debt. It can be done, but you have to be careful not to fall into that debt trap, because honestly, the college debt trap is there, and it makes people have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars plus interest till they graduate. So skip the debt, chase the cash is what I'm telling you. That's plain and simple. If you don't want to do it, don't do it, but find something that you want to do and figure out that what all you want to do and how that can benefit you and those that you're around. And honestly, I will tell you, sure, making millions of dollars a year is cool, and that would be awesome. But what priorities do you have in your life, and what do you want to do in your life? That's really the key here. What matters most to you, right? And you know, if you change your career in the middle of your career, don't let people tell you that that's wrong. Do it. Because you're the only one. Your happiness means more than anything else. Your happiness is what drives you and makes you where you want to be. So don't feel stuck because someone says this is what you need to be doing. Test things out. Do the things that you want to do. Live your life. When you become an adult, which technically is 18, you can live your life. That is you. You can do whatever you want. Doesn't matter unless you're. The only way I'll retract that a little bit is if your parents are paying for you to live and they're paying for all the things that you're doing, then you kind of got to listen to them a little bit. And then what you need, if you want that to change, then you need to come up with a good rebuttal and a good conversation to have with them to make it happen in the way that you want. Because if someone else is paying for all your stuff, you kind of have to do what they want you to do. Plain and simple. Anyway, thank you guys for the emails. I appreciate it. Got some more coming up. We've got a few more weeks till we're in Utah, and I'm going to be recording podcast after podcast after podcast just to get them all done. So I'm trying to go and get ahead of the game here. And so I'm going to stretch these out over the recordings. Probably record 2 or 3 a day, and so I can get those done because we got to focus on our move and moving to Tennessee and getting all that figured out. It's going to be definitely going to be an interesting next 6-7 weeks. And then once we get to Tennessee, then we start brand new. I mean, we're talking brand new house. When I say new house, I mean we're building a house. So we got to figure out the living conditions, what we're going to do. We have some ideas. We actually looked at a few places to live already, but those are difficult to figure out. We got to figure that one out. Because we don't want to be stuck in a lease for next 2-3 years. It's going to be for probably be at least 1 year is what we're going to be stuck in. I'm trying to get a 6-month lease, but we'll see what happens because I got to build a house. So my next path here is going to be building a house for at least the next 6 months until it's done, and then which will be nice because then I'll have a brand new podcast room specifically just for the Youngbloods podcast. So anyway, appreciate you guys. Thank you for emailing, and I will talk to you guys later.